as we wrap up website discussion, we really need to look at what are the methods and tools that we're using to get that person to connect with me. And I think if you have that mindset, it really helps your auditing process. Am I giving them opportunities in the right places? And am I simplifying the options? And am I giving them confidence that when they ask a question, they're going to get a response? I think that's a big piece of it.
That's a good point, Subi. When you talk about asking a question and getting a response, the other thing I was going to say too is actually listening. So if you're asking for a lead and you ask a customer to tell you what they prefer as in methods of contact, if they don't give you a phone number, they're probably not ready to have a phone call with you. So if they provided an email and you want to send it, you have to evolve and grow that relationship. I think real quick, we flip our hats and we say, well, I need to call them. I need to do this now because that's my process. But it's not about you. It's about the customer and how they feel comfortable interacting. So, to be able to say like, yeah, text me, to be able to text someone and start a conversation, it will evolve to a phone call. Like it has to, but you have to start somewhere. So to be able to find someone and where they want to meet in their comfort level in the communication, I feel is key.
No, great point. But again, customer experience following website is absolutely perfect. So how do we really consider the customer experience, the customer journey when they're talking to our business, when they're engaging? Let's talk about some things that people can walk away with to audit what that looks like. What I heard is that Steve and Don are willing to rent out their children to audit your sites. So if you need any help, let us know. We'll have their kids go through it. But really, I think that idea of focus groups, I've done it for my businesses before I was on the agency side. Just gather a group of people. We actually did ads and just said, you've seen like the tickets and dinner. Every theater, I think, has that type of thing. So we would buy a few of those and we would just say 15-minute exercise and here's what you get in return. And we would just put like a Facebook ad up and we would get 30 people to do it, to get those fresh eyes, or your family and your friends. There's always someone who hasn't spent hours and hours looking at your site that can go through and tell you what that experience is. What other things can people look at or consider when it comes to consumer experience? Both of you, either of you.
When you talk about consumer experience related to a website, I think one of the biggest things I see is the lack of promotion. Even I'll go to the auto space, even with light inventory where you don't really have to discount things, doesn't mean you can't have a sale. We all define sale, right? There's things when you go shopping at Target or your grocery store where they put a price in front of you. It doesn't necessarily say sale, but it attracts your eye, it gets your attention, and it helps you move things. And that's what we need to think about is you don't need to technically offer a discount, but what do you want to promote this week, this month? What do we need to put more eyes on? Those are things that I feel like when I talk to a lot of business owners, they kind of miss the ball on that, as well as the customer experience. If you have a page that has a special or a sale and you click on it and there's nothing there, that's a bad experience. Like, you want to leave. Like, I'd rather not have the page there than go to a page that says special and not have a special. It's like going to a store that says sale. You walk in and go, what's the sale? And they go, we don't have one. That wouldn't happen. They would always tell you, well, this and this, or, we're offering something. You'd be able to they'll get creative on the spot if they need to. And I feel like in the auto industry, we kind of missed the boat on that. And that's something as a shopper, you're used to that. It doesn't matter what you're shopping for. You're clicking around, everyone's looking for a deal, even if there isn't a deal the way the market is right now. They still want their version of a deal or what you could offer them.
That's a great point. Steve, I feel like I've heard you say this before, but one of the experience things that I think are so simple to consider is we do all these ads and then we send them straight to the homepage. And it's not speaking to what the consumer needs. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to Don's point, right? Is if you're intrigued by an ad and you click on an ad that is telling you about whatever it is, the price point of a new truck that you're looking at, and you click that ad and it then takes you to the homepage and you now have to navigate to get to that truck and you can't find the same price because, we know how automotive advertising works sometimes. It's just frustrating. So again, streamline the process. If I'm clicking on an ad for a price point or a lease deal on a new truck, which by the way are two separate things, a price point and a lease deal, it should take me to information about that truck via a price point or a lease deal. It should match up all the way through the process. And I think, customer experience goes further than just the website too, right? It's, what does the lead process look like? Like Don had said, are you following up the correct way for that customer? When they come into the store, does that experience match what they've received up until that point? Are we making it a smooth transaction? And I know we'll get into, some branding shortly, but, we want to make sure that we're providing a real value for that customer to come into our store and really understand why they should be doing business with us.
No, that's great. I think one of the things that I wanted to make sure that we mentioned was chat. And I know we kind of mentioned it before, but this is really basic. If you have a chat function, go in and check the hours and the automated messages that go out at times that you can't respond or what the process feels like. You don't need to be available all the time as long as you're communicative about when you are available and what the process looks like after they submit something. Obviously, if you can even disable it at certain times, great. But if you are going to put a chat bubble in front of my face and then you're not going to respond or you're going to give me some generic message and then not follow up afterwards, it kind of takes that instant gratification bug away. Like we want that. And if I can't have it, it puts a bad taste in my mouth, especially when people have absolutely no plan. So I think that's a really important point of, chat. How are you communicating? And you can load a lot of these chat tools with great automated messages that explain, here's what's going to happen. This is after hours. Someone's not available at the moment, but we'll get back to you with the X amount of time, but just make sure you deliver on that.
Yeah. And I would make sure too, just having a chat, clicking the box and having a chat function on your website is not enough. Like Subi said, if I go on and it asks me my name and my information, and then as soon as the chat pops up, they say, hi, who am I speaking with today? It's like, well, I just told you that. Like what, and, make sure that it's a good experience from a chat, provider. There's plenty out there that do a great job. But like, if I'm asking you about something, don't just keep trying to push me through the BDC process of like, oh, let me get your name and let me get your information. And when are you available to come see this truck? It's like, well, that's not what I'm asking. Answer my question, don't just try to get me into the store. Try to answer the question that I have first and foremost, and then we can talk about bringing me in.